After the violence we saw in and around Durban and Johannesburg, directed at African migrant workers, some of whom were Zimbabwean, Jacob Zuma, he said, look, we condemn this. This is terrible. This is not the South Africa that we want to be. But he also said our neighboring countries have their own responsibility to deliver economic and political conditions which will mean their people will not need or want to leave home. Our brothers and sisters, he said, in neighboring countries must be in a situation where they no longer need to leave their countries in search of a better life. That means there's a responsibility on you.
Look, it is the primary responsibility for any government, ours included, is the protection of its citizens and the livelihood of its citizens. But you cannot, in one and the same breath, say there have been these horrible attacks, but you don't condone them. However, why are people here and not in their countries? That is precisely what xenophobia is. If we're talking about South Africans,
that's not xenophobic.
That's what it is. That's the.
Why is that xenophobic?
Because you are actually saying, don't come here, stay in your own country.
No, he's just saying to countries like yours that there is a great need for reform, for change, so that Zimbabweans can live in peace and prosperity in their own country.
You know, we are exporting a lot of jobs to South Africa. The South African economy is what it is. First, historically, because of cheap labor from countries such as ours.
You have used some extraordinarily inflammatory language about the South Africans. You have said, quote, xenophobia today in South Africa can easily mutate into genocide tomorrow. You've accused South Africa of Afrophobia. What is your problem with South Africa?
No, actually, you know, we don't have any problems with South Africans. In fact, we also don't have any problems.
To use the word genocide, you did.
You asked the question, isn't it? I want to repeat, we have no problems with South Africa or South Africans. They are our comrades, our brothers and our sisters. We're in the trenches together. But we have serious problems with those lynch mobs doing what they did in full view of television cameras.
So does Jacob Zuma.
If you allow that to happen without condemning it outright, without condemning it unconditionally, you sow seeds of genocide. This is a fact. If you have a king who is very influential, saying that foreigners must pack their bags and go, likening them to lice and ants, that is what happened. It's similar to what happened.
Do you think anybody in South Africa is prepared to take lectures from a representative of the Mugabe government when it comes to allegations of violence, of extraordinary repression of people, including people of a different ethnicity inside their own country? Is Zimbabwe in any position at all to take moral high ground on this sort of issue?
It is not about taking moral high ground. It is about defending our people. I myself, as Jonathan Moyo, come from a constituency in Cholocho that was profoundly affected by what was happening in South Africa. I have a responsibility to represent that constituency, and I do so without fear or favor and without owing anyone an apology.
A final thought. We've talked about the fact that there is going to be, before too long, a transition. Are you confident, in the circumstances of today's Zimbabwe, that the transition, when it comes, is going to be peaceful and stable?
Well, look, I don't know what transition you're talking about.
Well, of course you do.
No, I don't.
This country has been dominated by one man for 35 years,
that's one man,
and that will soon come to an end. It is just nature.
Look, it's not like we are a monarchy like you. You know, getting into power here is not by inheritance. It is by election. It's the people. We would be feeling some pressure if we did not have the constitutional means for acquiring power in this country. Power in this country is acquired through a democratic election. And when you have those means in place, honestly, it boggles the mind as to why anyone would suggest that there's something we somehow should worry about facing us in the near future.